Welcome back everybody to another live stream repair. We've got two HomePods to fix up today. We're gonna grab the first one. This comes from Yuri. And it has the oh so common no power issue. So, first things first, we are going to confirm our symptoms with a known good power cable here. Okay, not seeing anything on the HomePod there, and we get about 6 watts of power draw from the wall. So this does look like we've got another one of those dead diodes on the amplifier. Let's crack it open and find out. Subwoofer checks out. No issues there. Alright, the fan's coming on, sorry. Okay, let's get up close. There's our problem part, that Schottky diode with a date code of 1746K. Let's go ahead and get that replaced and see if that's all this wants. That should do it. Here we go. And we've got power. All right, this looks excellent. Didn't even say hi to me.
Say hi.
Baby Chow. Hi.
I'm feeling better.
You feel better after getting some food and a nap?
You slept for about 30, 40 minutes.
having a hard time here. There we go. Yeah, no, still no solution to the blinking volume buttons issue. If there is, of course, it'll be up on the website. We've had a couple people say that they've maybe had something, but nothing has ever actually come to fruition yet. Still offering a free HomePod to whoever can figure it out. The amplifier board has nothing to do with the blinking volume buttons issue. That's the thing. It's purely a logic board issue. So, unfortunately, doing anything to the amplifier won't have any effect. No, there aren't any electrolytics on anything other than the main amplifier board down inside. Oh, sorry, and the power supply too. But no electrolytics on the top display here or the top logic board. And that logic board under the display here is where is where the blinkies problem comes from. So obviously you can just buy another HomePod and swap that swap that logic board, and yeah, it'll work again, but as you can imagine, since there's no known way to fix the bricked ones, the blinking ones, then there is no good supply of working logic boards to offer repairs or any for sale or anything like that. We've tried like reflowing the whole board too. I've tried replacing a few parts on there. Other people have tried replacing a few parts on there. We've tried dumping firmware. Unfortunately, there's just a lot that a lot of people don't know how to do with these still yet. There has got to be a way. Everything we've tried, though, is up on my website. Yeah, oh yeah, of course it's got VGA chips. It's got the A8 SoC, which is the CPU and the RAM. And then there's the NAND chip. There's the power management chip. Probably a few others on there. Drum roll, please. There we go. Excuse me.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. I'm having trouble connecting.
There we go. Turns on. Sounds fine. Lights up fine. We're all fixed up. So that leaves us with one more to fix. This one's from Romano in California. Who wants to bet it's a no power issue? We did not have nearly enough no power HomePods yesterday, so okay. Wow. Nice. I had to jinx it, so this one is not a power issue. This one appears to be a loud popping issue. Let's go ahead and read their email from Romano here. I've had two original HomePods since they came out, and while one has been working great, the other has started to make popping noises. The HomePod turns on fine, but makes a popping sound when I connect. It'll play, but problems arise after a short period of time. First, the sound volume drops. Seems like a speaker goes out. Sometimes the audio goes back to normal. Sometimes the HomePod makes a hissing sound. So, let's go ahead and check our symptoms here. This sounds like we've got perhaps some excess DC offset, or in other words, too much DC voltage going through the amp and into the speaker, which will over time damage parts on the amplifier and the speaker itself. So fingers crossed we have a good subwoofer still, and the board just needs a little attention here. That all said, with that, I'm expecting to hear a louder than usual pop when we wake it up here, and then again when we unplug it from power. I just heard it pop, so it woke up. Let's listen for the power when we unplug it. Wow. Okay. That's definitely not good. Definitely a sign of DC offset, or like I was saying, the filters on the amplifier going bad. So let's take this apart and confirm our suspicions. We're going to connect our test woofer over here up to their amplifier, and this woofer has a connection to our multimeter up on our screen at the bottom right there in the red text. And that will give us an idea of how much DC voltage the amplifier is spitting out, which is another way of seeing how bad our filters are. DC offset is just simply how far away from 0 millivolts you are. So 500 millivolts positive is just as bad as 500 millivolts negative. We don't like to see more than 50 millivolts, which is a rather aggressive target considering the amplifier itself can actually tolerate up to 200. So anything more than 50 millivolts whenever we're testing these after we get them working again, that warrants replacing filters. Usually we don't actually see problems until they start growing past a couple hundred millivolts. So let's open this up and see what we've got. The problem with swapping chips around on the logic board is some of the parts are married to each other, so you can't just take the NAND chip, you can't just take the storage chip from one logic board and pop it onto another logic board, because the CPU will be unhappy with that. There are certain ways that you can make that work, but it is well above my skill set, and even if it was within my skill set, not even something that we could do very efficiently. To the best of our knowledge, it just seems like the software got corrupt, and Apple hasn't given anybody a way to restore the software on them yet, even though it's physically possible, and we've proven that. Yeah, you're pretty close, Reese. So you do not want any DC voltage whatsoever on your speakers. Doesn't matter if it's the HomePod speaker or the speakers in your home theater system or the speakers in your car doors or the speakers on your phone. DC voltage is no bueno for your speakers. And the reason for that is, unlike the AC audio signal that normally goes into your speaker, where, let me grab a subwoofer, a sacrificial subwoofer. So unlike an AC audio signal where the signal moves the speaker in and out, well, let's see. Let me see if I can grab this. AC audio signal moves the speaker, you know, like it normally does, in and out, and then back to the center. With DC voltage, it's moving the speaker one way or the other and holding it there. And that is creating additional load, not allowing the speaker to move as freely, and it's going to overheat the speaker and roast it over time, because that movement from the AC audio signal is what helps cool it off. So with restricted movement and the load of it just sitting there and holding itself in one position is going to quickly cause problems. So in a perfect world, you would have 0 millivolts, period. But we do not live in a perfect world, and electronics are far from it. So there are tolerances that we try to stick to. And yeah, you will definitely hear too much DC voltage in your speaker. It will, like you said, produce a bit of a humming sound. When DC voltage is applied or taken away from the speaker, at that moment you will hear the popping sound, which is why you hear the pop in the HomePods. When the amplifier turns on, that DC voltage starts pumping into the speaker, so you hear the pop. And then when the HomePod isn't being used, after 10 minutes of inactivity, it goes into standby mode. It turns the amplifier off, so that DC voltage goes away, and you hear that pop in the speaker again. And like, popping itself isn't necessarily a cause for concern. There is a normal amount of popping that these have. I mean, the second gens even do it. I've had brand new out of the box first gens do it. And the best that we can tell with our equipment, our eyes, and our years of experience with these, there is nothing wrong with them, even if they have got a tiny little pop on occasion. It's when that pop is more pronounced, it's a loud pop, and it's more like a, well, not like that. It sounds like somebody's like dropped a microphone. You can almost hear it and feel it in your chest. Alright, so our bass speaker thankfully looks to be in great shape. Smells great too. Doesn't smell funny or burned or anything like that. So that looks great to keep using. Let's get just a little deeper and then we can check out how much DC offset this thing actually has right now. Go ahead and place your bets. How much offset do you think this thing's gonna have? Just to refresh you, less than 50 millivolts is within spec in what we typically see on good working HomePods. More than 200, or around 200 to 800 millivolts is normally what we see for moderate to severe popping and farting HomePods. And then for the really severe cases where we've just seen absolutely roasted subwoofers, blown up amplifier boards and all that, we've seen excess of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 plus millivolts, or in other words, like 3 volts, 3 full volts, bro. Which doesn't really sound like much. I mean, you can lick a 9-volt battery and it's like, it tickles my tongue. But 3 volts, that's like swallowing 2 AA's. That's nothing. But for a little speaker like these, it can be death. Alright, and we've got some stubborn power supply screws. I am not extracting these suckers. Alright. We're boned. This was going to be a quick one. This was going to be an easy one. Oh, Lord. I need to organize these. Alright, so we need to grab a big enough flathead out of here that's gonna grip this and rip it. Oh, here's my T7, that'll work. Oh boy, no, that is absolutely stripped. We need... Oh, jeez. Oh. Why do they have to glue these in so bad? Let's see, will this fit? Nope. Let's try to drip some alcohol in there while we're dicking with it. Hopefully that'll eat some of that glue. Oh boy, this is a cluster. Let's just put these all in for now, so we can at least see what we've got. Will this work? Nope. Will this one work? That looks promising. Oh. Oh. Nope. This is not looking good. Okay. This is malarkey. This is absolute malarkey. No, we've sized up. We've jammed them. We've tried flatheads. Let me grab my fresh iFix-It kit. This is brand new. I haven't even used it. Any of it. So let's grab our T7. No. What about one of these flatheads? No. What about the smaller flathead? That's going to be too small. Yeah, that's too small. Well, this is a predicament. And it's in the worst spot too, right next to these two caps. Oh shit. Shoot. Well, okay. Here's what I think we're gonna do. Because I've got plenty of replacement power supplies and not so many replacement amplifiers, I think I'm just gonna break the power supply off. Because this is not coming out, and I've tried every possible... Oh, well, not quite yet. Let's see. Oh. Oh, buddy. Oh, no, no, no. Get out of here. Wow. Okay. Thank you, folks, for joining me in that suffering. We can move forward. So, actually, before we take any of this out, I want to go ahead and see how bad our DC offset currently is. I'm going to go ahead and guess we've got 300 millivolts. And of course, it'll continue to grow as the capacitors warm up to operating temperature. Let's find out. If the ribbon cable needs to be replaced, is there an ideal way to glue it back in, or is it okay to sit loose? I wouldn't let it sit loose. I would use double-sided tape to stick it back, because it will rattle around and you'll hear it. Oh my god. Okay, 800 millivolts and quickly growing. We're already at 900 millivolts now. That is pretty gnarly, and if you watched our subwoofer here, you could see it kind of like fall back into its resting position after we unplugged it from power there. So, we know what's going on here. Let's get the amp out and give it some new filters. Cutting a notch into this screw with a Dremel is a great idea. I do not have a Dremel though. That may sound ridiculous, but I don't. Ooh! That's not the first time we've done that. That's okay. Got a little charge left in there still. Alright, we're losing screws. Here we go. Excuse me. Okay. So I'm curious, let's get up close before we dive into anything that needs to be done. What do we have for a date code on? Okay. Alright, Apple. Yeah, we've got a date code on our diode here of 1746K. This has nothing to do with the issue at hand, but if we do not replace this part, this HomePod will come back to us for no power issues because this will fail because it's a part of a known bad batch of these floating around. So here's what needs to happen. This needs a new diode so it doesn't come back for no power. That 10 ohm resistor actually looks pretty snazzy, so we can leave that alone. And here we've got our filters. These are what go bad and cause that DC voltage that we saw when we were testing. So let's take care of our filters first, and then we'll knock out the diode while these get a chance to cool off. Alright, you jackass. Come here. There we go. Shh, come on. Oh, good freaking grief. I hate this low melt solder so much, it's crap. I regret buying it. What was it? What is it, this stuff? Don't buy this. It holds perfectly fine, but it doesn't flow for crap. There we go. I don't think anything is killing these caps other than natural decay as they age. It's known in an expected property for these specific types of caps to slowly lose their effectiveness at filtering DC voltage over time. And of course, lower quality ones probably won't last as long. Alright, we've got nice, straight, solid contact on all of our replacements. So let's knock out this stupid Schottky diode. Yeah, all those caps do is filter voltage. That is their only job. Yep, what you're looking at, this whole board here is the amplifier board. This is what converts the digital signal for audio to analog and amplifies the sound and sends it to all of the speakers. The tweeter speakers each have their own individual amp chip, and the bass speaker gets its own amp chip as well. As well as DC filtering caps and all that jazz, which is why you only hear the popping out of the bass speaker and none of the tweeter speakers. It's its own amplifier circuit on this main amp board. But the logic board does not connect directly to the power supply. It gets its power through the amplifier board, so that's why you see this Schottky diode fail and cause the whole HomePod to not power on anymore, because it's no longer letting the amp properly operate and send the power to the logic board. Okay. That should be one happy HomePod. Okay. I want to see a number less than 50 millivolts. And I want to hear that popping get much quieter. And if those two happen, then this will be fixed up. Okay. Subwoofer. Logic board. Here we go. Look at that. We got it fixed. Checking for the pop. Beautiful. Oh, I haven't heard of either of those channels before. I'll have to check them out. I watch a lot of Northridge Fix. I used to watch a lot of Louis Rossman, but he stopped fixing stuff and started doing his whole politics thing. I agree with some of it and I disagree with some of it, but to each their own. Alright. This HomePod wants to play games with me. There we go. You think Northridge rips people off? Is that because of his bench fee or whatever? You can't deny that he's fairly educated in electronics repair. But I do question like bench fees and like, you know, basically charging people if you can't fix it, that kind of thing. Yeah, he's got his mansion and all that. I haven't, you know, actually, I haven't watched nearly as much of his stuff ever since he started posting all that too. You know, so that leaves, as far as like bigger channels, that leaves like Tronics Fix, but that guy, I love watching it, I love him, but sometimes some of the stuff that he does and some of the stuff that he can't do, it just makes me like, oh please, no. his fees may be high, but there's a very good chance that if he's not able to fix it, then there probably aren't many other people who can. To a degree, you get what you pay for, and I do believe that he is I don't know. I can't say because I don't really know his actual rates, but I know that he charges bench fees for everything regardless, which I don't really like, but whatever. Learn electronics repair. Yeah, that's what's like sad is like there's all these other like really small channels out there that are clearly way more educated on how electronics actually works. So when they know what the problem is, they know where to start looking and how to diagnose it. As opposed to, like you said, you do make a valid point. Northridge does go off a lot of like common known faults, but still, I learned a lot of troubleshooting techniques from Northridge Fix, and I'm sure I probably could have learned the same stuff from other channels too. But I don't want to make it sound like Northridge is like a saint or like a repair god, you know? And I don't want to make myself sound like a repair god either. We're pretty in between all of those guys. Like the no power issue specifically, I give credit to Electronics Repair School for figuring that one out. Essentially every other issue though, I will take full credit for, and a lot of those issues we have been just going in completely blind and just trial and error. Replace something. Does it work now? No? Okay, replace something else. Oh shit, I completely broke it. Guess we're gonna have to find another one and start all over again. But through a lot of that process, I did learn a lot of how things work. I don't think I'm like an expert yet still, because there's a lot of components and you know, electronic stuff that I just don't understand how it works. Like for example, if you're gonna ask me what does that inductor do on the amplifier board, chances are I'm not gonna know. And it doesn't help that there aren't schematics available for any of this stuff. EV Blog. EV Blog is an excellent channel. He's got some great forums too, with a lot of people there that are really smart. He knows his shit. I love it because he goes dumpster diving for like broken electronics, and then like okay, and it's really cool because he does tend to go into those things like pretty raw and not knowing like what the common issues on some of these things are. But he does have enough actual electronics engineering knowledge to be able to look at a circuit and understand how it works and what's going on. That's where I want to be. That's where I want to get. Wow, this HomePod is putting up a fight. There we go. That's funny. I would love to send like a HomePod or at least the amplifier board to somebody someday with a big brain, so I can get their thoughts on it, maybe a little reverse engineering, and potentially solve a few more issues with these. I could just go to college and get an engineering degree, or an electronics engineering degree, but that would take years, and by then I'm sure repairing first-gen HomePods might be a different story. Alright, let's close it up. My mate Vince is a fun channel to watch also. He's not like a super electronics nerd, but it's fun to watch him take stuff apart and not really know exactly what he's doing, but still figure things out. It's kind of like me. I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I love Big Clive. That's who I've been. That's the guy that I've been spacing the name on. You know what's funny? For the longest time, for years, I always thought Big Clive's name was actually, like, his YouTube channel's name was actually Big C Live, and it never made sense to me. And then I noticed that it was Big Clive because the Clive was capitalized and not C Live. And I was like, oh, that makes so much more sense. I have these problems a lot. You can tell I'm a little different. Let's see if this is happy. The wife and I love watching anything pink on Big Clive's channel. Yes, no more popping.
Connecting to the internet. I'm having trouble connecting.
Don't raise your voice at me. Volume buttons light up nice and evenly. Beautiful. Alright, folks. That is about... Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to leave this one plugged in and test it overnight just to be sure. But based on what we saw, we're confident this is fixed. And we've got all of them fixed up today. So, if you have any more questions on fixing your own HomePods or reaching out to me to get it done for you, check out the website, nixfix.com. We've got a list of common issues, mail-in address for us, how to reach out to us, and other people around the world doing the same thing. Frequently asked questions like the tools that we use here, And that's about it. So, hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair, and I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye!